Hey friends, it's Dusty here and welcome to today's devotion. I want to challenge us today with this question. What does it mean for us to live for God? What does it mean to live for God? Just the other day, I asked our youth leadership team this question. It's been quite an interesting journey because as you ask different people this question, usually we lean towards the generic answer or kind of a theoretical answer. We say things like, well, living for God is living to please Him, or it's living out His plans and purposes, or it's living in relationship with Him. And although those are all true, the Bible, what I love about the Bible, and I'm passionate about the Word because it gives us practical examples of how we outlive this life. In fact, 2 Peter, in the book of 2 Peter, it says that God has given us everything for life and godliness. So not just godliness, but also for life. But what does it mean practically for you and I to be living for God? I've been going through the book of 1 Peter in my devotions, and I was so challenged and stirred by 1 Peter chapter 4. And I want to encourage you in your own time to read the chapter and let it just sink into your heart. So 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 8 says this: above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. Offer hospitality to one another without complaining. Each of you should use whatever gift he has received to serve others, faithfully administrating God's grace in various forms. If anyone speaks, he should do it as one speaking the words of God. I love these practical points that Peter offers of how you and I live for God. First one, most important one, love each other deeply. Friends, I can't tell you how much the world needs the love that we have in us, the love of God in us to come through. Just the other day, I was in Durban with our City Life, our Gap Year team, and we were just in Durban praying for people. And I couldn't believe how much just walking up to someone saying, "How are you? Hey man, how's life?" And they got to share it with us. And I say, well, can I pray with you? Can I trust God with you? I couldn't believe how much that meant to these people because they're lonely and they're broken. And I tell you, friends, that where we're at the moment, people are feeling lonely. People are going through tough times. And this ability to love each other deeply, Peter qualifies this as saying, if you truly want to live for God, love each other deeply. He goes on and says, offer hospitality without grumbling or complaining. And I love that we are here to serve people. The next idea he shares there is that if we want to live for God, we should serve each other with our gifts. And it was so beautiful to be reminded that the gifts that you and I have, you could go look at the spiritual gifts, or you could look at the grace gifts in Romans chapter 12. Our gifts of encouragement, our gifts, whatever gift you may have, we have those gifts because we need to be serving people with them. And then he finishes with this final thought that when we speak, we must speak the very words of God. And I love that because we always used to wear those bangles saying WWJD, what would Jesus drive? Or what would Jesus do, depending on who you are. I now think like this. I ask myself, what would Jesus say? WWJS. The world needs more godliness, more godly language. So friends, I want to encourage you that to live for God ultimately is to serve others and love others. How encouraging and how cool is that today? Because that's what the world lacks, is a selfless love and devotion to each other. I hope this challenges some thought process in you and encourages you to continue serving God, living for God, loving others and serving others. Have an amazing day.